Hello, and welcome to Dreamy Tales, a sanctuary where everyone can experience calm and a touch of magic before gently drifting into sleep. Tonight, we invite you on another enchanting journey, a story that helps soothe the mind and nurture a sense of peace. Before we begin, let's take a moment to prepare our bodies and minds for a comforting, restorative rest. Make yourself cozy, and with each slow inhale and long exhale, let the cares of the day gradually slip away. It's not always easy to step back from the day's demands, especially as night falls. Yet, remember, the less we worry about how quickly we'll fall asleep, the simpler it is for our minds to release any remaining tension. Allow the gentle flow of your breathing to wash away lingering concerns, and let the story ahead guide you into a state of deep relaxation. Now, settle in, and let the dreamy atmosphere softly wrap around you. Enjoy this story, and may you drift into a peaceful, restful slumber here on Dreamy Tales. In the heart of the 2nd century, beneath the benevolent Italian sun, the vast country estate near Tibur unfolded like a map of an emperor's soul. This was the sanctuary of Valerius, ruler of Rome, midway through a reign that stretched across continents. Whenever the clamor of the capital grew too loud, he sought refuge here. In this newly wrought marvel nestled amidst picturesque hills, a mere score of miles from Rome, yet worlds away in spirit. This afternoon, late spring draped the land in warmth and light. Valerius ambled through his gardens, a man in his prime, tall, with dark curls framing a face distinguished by a meticulously kept beard. No imperial purple today. Instead, simple, light garments, and the worn comfort of familiar sandals graced his form. He was off duty, the intricate demands of governance momentarily set aside. No audiences, no decrees, just the slow unwinding after a taxing week in the city. Rome had been a whirlwind of meetings, compounded by the meticulous oversight of his architects, men currently breathing new life into the Pantheon, that colossal temple aspiring to the heavens. Valerius found satisfaction in much of his imperial burden, especially the shaping of stone and space, yet the city's relentless pulse invariably wore him down. Thus, the escape to Tibur, a journey swift enough by horse, a couple of hours transforming urban pressure into rural tranquility. Weekends here often bled into weeks, the estate's embrace proving difficult to leave. He was just now reacclimating to the estate's gentle cadence. Arriving that morning, he'd partaken of a robust midday meal before commencing his customary survey of the grounds. Now, traversing an elegant garden bordering the property's edge, his shadow stretched long beside that of Lyra, his devoted black hound trotting faithfully behind. This particular expanse, a favored haunt, masterfully blended opulent human artistry with untamed natural grace. Pathways, edged with statues of exquisite marble and whispering fountains, meandered onward. Fragrant wisteria tumbled down a nearby wall, a cascade of violet obscuring the brickwork beneath. Further off, a long pool shimmered, its surface a dazzling mirror to the sun. Silence reigned, save for the soft crunch of Valerius's sandals on the gravel, Lyra's near-silent padding, and the delicate murmur of water. He paused, head tilted, listening intently. Birdsong, previously unnoticed, filtered through the stillness. Nearby, the cheerful chatter of sparrows flitting about the fountain rims, seeking sips and splashes. From deeper within the estate's embrace, more distant, unseen melodies drifted, perhaps from the cypress spires or the sheltering canopies of umbrella pines that stood sentinel around his domain. A profound sigh escaped Valerius, a breath laden with contentment. To be back, truly back, where the week's anxieties dissolved like mist. Each return shed years, lifted burdens. He felt lighter, younger. The relentless energy of Rome, its ceaseless demands, he could endure it only so long. Compared to that urban crucible, Tibur felt like Arcadia rediscovered. The peace was palpable, the air cool, crisp. He inhaled deeply, a smile touching his lips. Gratitude washed over him, not merely for a country home, but for this haven, this personal cosmos accessible at will. This villa was his vision made manifest, conceived by his own mind. He'd craved a rural retreat, proximate to the capital, yet distinct. Existing properties fell short. He yearned for something grander, more intimately his own. His instruction to the architects was clear. Construct his ideal city, rendered in miniature. The result was staggering. Over 30 structures sprawled across extensive gardens, an estate dwarfing Pompeii itself. Countless pools, fountains, and thermal baths punctuated the landscape. Beyond mere living quarters lay libraries, temples, magnificent courtyards, and pavilions. A private domicile even floated upon a man-made isle. Expense was no object during its creation. Only the finest materials would suffice. Floors gleamed with rare marble, intricate mosaics of glass and ivory forming complex geometries. Walls wore veneers of polished stone or vibrant frescoes. Vivid mosaics adorned numerous chambers, depicting avian life, beasts of myth, and scenes from legend. In certain aspects, it echoed other imperial residences. Roman rulers had long cultivated luxury. Valerius's primary dwelling on Rome's Palatine Hill was itself a testament to opulence. Yet this country villa possessed a unique soul, infused with his singular perspective. He hadn't merely commissioned it. He had shaped its very bones, guiding the design, selecting the textures and tones. His ambition transcended mere luxury. He sought to build not just a house, but a representation of his existence, his passions etched into the landscape. Recent years had seen him traverse the empire relentlessly. Lands later known as Britain, Greece, Turkey, Persia, North Africa. While imperial duty often dictated these journeys, an innate wanderlust also propelled him. Verdant northern fields, sun-scorched southern deserts. Memories of these disparate terrains remained vivid, cherished. Consequently, his villa became a tapestry of architectural dialects. The estate's elegant framework adhered to classical Roman principles, yet specific enclaves drew direct inspiration from his peregrinations abroad. He was now walking through such a confluence. The path unfurled towards a long artificial pool, flanked by stone colonnades and graceful arches. Majestic marble sculptures lined its edge, Roman deities in conversation with a procession of Greek caryatids. Those sculpted maidens in draped robes serving as pillars, bearing the weight of the stone above. Approaching the pool, Valerius felt a familiar surge of deep satisfaction. Its symmetrical elegance, the harmonious blend of Hellenic, Roman, and Egyptian aesthetics. It was precisely as he had envisioned. This pool symbolized a tributary of the Nile. At its terminus lay a shell-shaped grotto, part ornament, part shrine, consecrated to Serapis, the Egyptian lord of the underworld. Within this cool recess rested a marble effigy of the god, a figure with wild, flowing locks, crowned with a peculiar cylindrical headdress like a vase. His expression, calm, almost detached, conveyed repose as he reclined upon an ornate plinth, encircled by murmuring fountains, seemingly presiding over the tranquil, sea-green expanse before him. On warm summer evenings, this poolside transformed into a stage for extravagant banquets. Valerius knew the spell it cast upon guests. They lauded its aesthetic perfection, its flawless symmetry, its dreamlike quality. For Valerius, however, its beauty resonated deeper, intertwined with symbolism and recollection. It was crafted to evoke the ambience of places encountered during his extensive travels through North Africa and Greece. Athens, in particular, had captivated him. Its architectural splendor, its vibrant culture. He held dear the memories of exploring its streets, participating in ancient rites, absorbing its spirit. These memories were doubly precious for the time shared with Lysander, his beloved companion. Their paths had crossed during Valerius's eastern sojourns in the kingdom of Bithynia. Since then, they had been nearly inseparable, traversing the vast empire side by side. Proximity to the villa's pool invariably transported Valerius back to those sun-drenched days in distant lands, Lysander near. Standing by the water's edge now, time dissolved as joyful recollections surfaced. Reaching the grotto end of the pool, Valerius stood motionless, his gaze lost in the water's shimmering play of light and reflected stone. The vividness of the past softened, nostalgia yielding to a quiet appreciation for the present moment. Those journeys were among his life's pinnacles, yet this, too, was a period of peace, of happiness. He felt more settled now, more comfortable within his own skin. Lifting his eyes, he surveyed the entire vista, the long sweep of water, the sentinel rows of columns and statues, the elegant arches framing the sky. Through meticulous design, a dream had solidified into a reality possessing an almost ethereal magic. Soon, the evenings would soften, warm enough for feasting here once more. Tables would circle the pool, guests reclining near the water's edge, dining beneath the moon's silver gaze. Closing his eyes, Valerius could almost hear laughter mingling with the fountain's gentle burble. He anticipated those long, languid summer nights, shared with Lysander and his most trusted friends. Opening his eyes, he found Lyra seated patiently beside him, tail giving a tentative thump. Time to move on, he decided, knowing the hound found greatest joy in motion. Age had dimmed her hunting prowess, but the instinct to roam, to explore every corner of the gardens, remained strong. As Valerius resumed his walk away from the pool, Lyra trotted ahead, nose glued to the earth, investigating every scent with profound concentration. He watched, amused by her fascination with seemingly ordinary patches of turf. Periodically, she'd halt, dedicating intense scrutiny to a particular spot, sniffing repeatedly as if deciphering complex olfactory messages hidden there. It struck him as poignant, her utter indifference to the surrounding luxury, the sculptural marvels, the costly pavement beneath her paws. None registered. Her world revolved around her master's presence and the intriguing narratives woven into the grass. She could be in any garden, anywhere, and her contentment would be the same. This simplicity was one reason Valerius cherished dogs. Beyond their unwavering loyalty and affection, they served as reminders to appreciate life's unadorned elements. The villa's architecture and art were magnificent, yes, but so too was this simple stretch of lawn. Valerius drew another deep breath, inhaling the rich perfume of freshly cut grass. His senses might lack Lyra's acuity, but this fragrance was deeply satisfying. Though intrinsically linked to spring, it carried within it the promise of summer's fullness. These transitional moments held a unique beauty. Spring yielding to summer, summer mellowing into autumn. Reflecting thus, breathing the garden scents, a wave of sweet nostalgia washed over him again, yet untethered to specific memories this time. A general feeling of contentment, tinged with a subtle, bitter sweetness. Perhaps, on some deeper level, it stemmed from an awareness of time's relentless passage, seemingly accelerating with age. It felt like only yesterday he'd noted this same seasonal shift, yet a full year had spun by. Next spring, the feeling would likely recur, the swift turning of the seasons catching him by surprise once more. He recalled Virgil's famous lament, "Fugit irreparabile tempus." It escapes irretrievable time. The phrase had become commonplace. Tempus fugit. Time flies. Encountering this sentiment as a young student of literature, it had made little impact. Indeed, his adolescent self might have refuted it. The days then seemed to stretch infinitely, an eternity laid before him. But the poet understood. Since then, time had indeed taken flight for Valerius. Ascending to the emperorship at 40 marked a watershed. The years now seemed to blur past even faster. Perhaps, he mused, this was a positive sign, evidence of a life lived richly, densely packed with experience. And the awareness of time's swift current served as a valuable prompt. Slow down. Savor moments like these. Continuing along the garden path, Valerius found his pace slackening. He focused on each footfall, each sensation, the grassy aroma, the sun's gentle warmth on his neck. Lyra glanced back, a questioning look in her eyes, tail wagging slightly. Impatient, likely, wondering at her master's sudden languor. Valerius offered an affectionate pat, then quickened his step slightly, heading towards the residential core of the estate. Emperor and Hound passed a grand complex of thermal baths, traversed numerous smaller gardens and courtyards. Finally, they arrived at a colonnaded porch marking the entrance to their destination, Valerius's private island. This island housed a substantial villa, over 30 rooms including bedchambers, a library, a study, and a compact bath suite. The luxurious structure commanded the entirety of the artificial isle, encircled by a shallow moat. Access was via a retractable wooden drawbridge. Though typically left down, Valerius cherished the potential for seclusion it offered. Raising the bridge rendered the island utterly private, a space for undisturbed study, relaxation, or sleep. The island retreat was a fantasy born in childhood. Squabbles with his sister, avoidance of tutors, moments when he yearned for absolute escape. Young Valerius often daydreamed of a personal sanctuary, not just a room, but an island fortress. Visitors admitted by invitation only, or sometimes none at all. His own small kingdom for solitary pursuits and perfect privacy. In those youthful visions, it was a rugged rock lashed by a cerulean sea. The reality differed, yet gazing now at the splendid house, its white marble luminous in the sun, profound contentment filled him. His childhood self could never have conceived of manifesting such a dream, let alone designing it. Valerius stepped onto the wooden planks, Lyra close behind. Crossing, his gaze drifted down into the moat, catching the flash of a fish darting beneath the surface. This moat was one of many fish ponds dotting the estate. He found their silent, gliding movements soothing, often pausing to watch them navigate the reeds. Perhaps his next project, he pondered. An indoor pool, an aquarium filled with the most vibrant exotic specimens. Space might even exist in one of the bedchambers. Soon, he would consult his architects. Valerius, ever the dreamer, the planner, always nurtured nascent ideas. Passing through the villa's grand entrance hall, the echo of their steps resonated on the intricate mosaic floor. Walls bore elaborate marble friezes depicting nautical scenes and marine life. Silence enveloped them. Unlike other bustling parts of the estate, teeming with servants or guests, the island house remained empty, unless the emperor granted entry. His public life necessitated constant interaction. The quietude here was a welcome balm. For now, the silent companionship of his dog sufficed. Lyra padded softly ahead, veering towards the study. It was uncanny, her apparent ability to anticipate his intentions, often knowing his destination before he consciously decided. Valerius followed her into the large, airy chamber overlooking the moat. This was his sanctum for personal pursuits, divorced from imperial responsibilities, reading, composing poetry, delving into philosophy, sketching architectural concepts, or sometimes simply sitting, gazing out the window, lost in reminiscence or daydreams. He entered, intending perhaps to study, or to draft ideas for the new fish pond. Instead, he found himself drawn to the couch by the window, sinking into its cushions, his mind adrift. Inevitably, thoughts circled back to past journeys. He recalled touring southern Greece with Lysander, overseeing the restoration of ancient temples, sacred groves. Closing his eyes, the scenes materialized with startling clarity. He hoped to revisit those places someday, or perhaps venture further still, to uncharted territories at the empire's fringes. Throughout his life, these surges of wanderlust had possessed him, but age brought a measure of patience, an ability to gently rein himself back to the present. Future travels beckoned, yet, for now, contentment resided right here. Opening his eyes, he saw Lyra had curled up in her accustomed corner, nestled on a soft, threadbare patch of carpet. This old rug, perhaps the sole item in the villa showing its age, was one Valerius resisted replacing. Lyra invariably made straight for it, settling comfortably in its center to sleep away the afternoon. Watching her doze peacefully, a sympathetic drowsiness crept over Valerius. The week's exertions, the pleasant fatigue from his garden stroll, it conspired towards rest. Nothing demanded his attention. No reason denied him a nap. Another sign of advancing years, perhaps, he thought, with an inward smile. An afternoon nap. Another of life's simple luxuries. Rearranging the cushions, Valerius lay back, closing his eyes. He inhaled deeply, feeling his body and mind surrender to stillness. The room was cool, profoundly silent. Only the faint rhythmic sound of the dog's soft snoring and his own steady breathing disturbed the quiet. His breaths, slow and deep, found their natural cadence, guiding him gently towards slumber. Thoughts of his magnificent villa, of epic journeys past and future, began to recede, dissolving into the background. The Emperor was drifting into another peaceful, private world, the sovereign realm of sleep. Here sprawls a coastline sculpted from dreams, the most exquisite strand your eyes have ever beheld. Settle into the embrace of powder-fine sand, bone white and soft, your gaze drawn across an ocean of impossible turquoise. It is a day incandescent. Sunlight spills from a cerulean canvas overhead, kissing your skin with gentle warmth. From the water sighs a perfect breeze, a cool counterpoint tempering the air just so. Listen. The ocean breathes, a tranquil rhythm against the shore, waves sighing onto the sand. Peace settles deep within you, watching the liquid rise and recede. Your own breath finds the cadence, inhaling with the swell, exhaling with the fall, an internal tide mirroring the sea. Allow your eyes to drift closed. Feel the breeze ghost across your face, a silken touch. The waves, now unseen, gain clarity, their murmur a profound calm. Each successive rush seems to deepen the tranquility, dissolving tension, until you feel as serene and boundless as the ocean itself. A subtle shift occurs. When your eyes flutter open, the world seems altered, though the turquoise water still glitters ahead, dappled with sun diamonds, and the same white sand cushions your feet. But turning your head reveals the unexpected. Beside you sits a magnificent elephant, his pewter-gray hide shimmering in the sun. He rests as if sunbathing, legs loosely sprawled, radiating an aura of quiet companionship utterly unlike the distant awe inspired by zoo elephants. He carries the grace of youth, noticeably smaller than the giants of memory, yet not quite a calf. Tiny tusks, like polished ivory buds, peak beside his trunk. A scattering of russet bristles crowns his head, catching the breeze alongside the vast, fanned sails of his ears, unmistakably marking him as African. His gaze meets yours, brimming with an ancient kindness. Then the impossible. He speaks, his voice a low, resonant hum like the ocean's deepest currents. Kalen, he introduces himself, your guide for this unfolding day. Though merely 10 years old, his entire existence has been woven into the vibrant tapestry of East Africa. He offers, with sincere honor, to lead you through his cherished Tanzania. Visions bloom in his words. Kilimanjaro's sky-piercing summit, the teeming wonder of the national parks, and shores like this very one. Communicating with this creature feels both surreal and profoundly natural. His love for his homeland resonates in every syllable, promising an exceptional journey. When he inquires if you wish to ride upon his back, hesitation evaporates. You ascend, and there, on the sun-drenched sand, your grand African adventure commences. Kalen moves with measured, deliberate steps, his broad back a surprisingly comfortable perch. He angles towards the ocean, preferring the soft splash and murmur of the shallows as he ambles along the coastline. Water swirls around his sturdy legs, composing a liquid melody. Elevated upon his back, you remain perfectly dry, a passenger on a living raft, gliding safely above the tide. This, Kalen explains, is the Indian Ocean, third largest on Earth. From this vantage, its immensity and beauty deepen. You observe the shifting hues, from bright, shallow aquamarine near the shore, deepening to a rich peacock blue further out. Far in the distance, tiny wooden vessels bob, their triangular white sails fluttering like captive moths against the blue expanse. Sailing those waters must hold its own quiet magic, yet contentment anchors you firmly here. Upon this elephant, on this shore. The sand, like granulated sugar, stretches endlessly ahead, punctuated by languid palm trees. Their slender, unbranched trunks culminate in crowns of feathery green fronds. They lean at whimsical angles, swaying gently, as if they too are basking in the sunlit ease. Nestled amongst and behind them, structures of varied design appear. Charming, small lodges painted a brilliant white, perfect for beachside repose, their patios adorned with sunbeds soaking in the light. Wooden chalets stand elevated on stilts, their bamboo shutters rolled up, beckoning patrons within open-air markets, restaurants, surf shacks, and snack bars. People move through this scene, some attending to shops and eateries, others reclining on patios. Yet, whether engaged in work or leisure, a shared, unhurried rhythm pervades their movements, mirrored in the easy smiles they wear. Kalen, it's clear, is not alone in his affection for this African haven. The salty tang of the ocean breeze envelops you, but as you progress, new, delectable scents weave into the air. Kalen perceives them too, his trunk lifting, questing hungrily. The local market, he murmurs, the next destination on your tour. He shifts course, stepping from the shallows onto the dry, warm sand. Faintly at first, then growing clearer comes the sound of live music, the warm strumming of guitars and soulful male voices lifted in song. The music possesses a slow, swaying beat, perfectly attuned to the relaxed environs. It swells, mingling with the cheerful hum of conversation, until finally the market materializes. A long line of stalls sheltered beneath an extended canvas canopy. Echoing the unhurried grace of the coast dwellers, everyone here seems imbued with contentment. Vendors jest and laugh behind their displays, engaging potential buyers. Customers drift from stall to stall, their pace unconsciously matching the gentle pulse. Some pause, inspecting wares, perhaps bargaining softly. Others simply meander, savoring snacks or sipping cool drinks as they absorb the atmosphere. While several stalls offer food and drink, Kalen has a specific one in mind for you. He proceeds down the central aisle, flanked by opposing rows of tables. You reflect on his fortunate youth. A fully grown bull might find navigating beneath the canvas roof a challenge. Even now, Kalen towers over the surrounding people, yet miraculously, collisions are avoided, undue attention scarce. Aside from the occasional friendly nod or wink, an invisible current seems to part the crowd, creating a pocket of space around the two of you. Kalen halts before a table, where a woman with a radiant smile presides over a large round pan. She wears a traditional dress vibrant with yellows and blues, patterned with silhouettes of giraffes striding contentedly across a savanna landscape. Wooden bracelets clink on her arm as she stirs the pan's contents, sizzling in warm, golden oil. The aroma is heavenly. She beams at Kalen, greeting him like a cherished friend, patting his flank as he explains your Tanzanian exploration. Amina is her name, she tells you, and the food she prepares is cassava. Superior to potato chips, she declares, the finest snack in town. And because you are Kalen's companion, your portion is complimentary. Amina spoons crisp cassava pieces into a paper cone, adding a flourish of your preferred sauce. You hold it close, inhaling the savory steam as it cools. The first bite confirms her claim. Delicious, similar to potato fries yet lighter, with a pleasing chewiness, hinting at vegetable sweetness, almost dessert-like. While you relish your treat, Kalen partakes from a generous bunch of bananas on the table, deftly curling his trunk around each fruit, popping it into his mouth with audible sounds of enjoyment. Soon, both the bananas and the delectable cassava are gone. You both express gratitude to Amina, who invites you back any time before continuing your market stroll. Variety flourishes here. No two stalls are identical. Offerings range from food and furniture to hats and intricate jewelry. You could acquire enormous round cushions in a kaleidoscope of patterns, or a life-sized wooden zebra, carved and painted with astonishing realism. Canvas sacks brim with beans for scooping, while vibrant oil paintings capture the local light. One stall overflows with fabrics piled high, a riot of color awaiting transformation into clothing. You spot the very yellow and blue giraffe print adorning Amina's dress, likely sourced here before being expertly sewn. Kalen pauses again, this time at a drink stall fronted by a chalkboard, advertising freshly squeezed sugarcane juice. Like Amina, the proprietor, Jafari, greets Kalen with obvious delight, ruffling the bristly hair on his head before turning to you with a warm, encompassing welcome. Learning you are a guest in his country and Kalen's friend, he insists on providing a complimentary drink. He selects a stalk of raw, golden sugarcane, resembling bamboo but thicker, more substantial. Placing it between two metal rollers, he cranks a wheel. The cane feeds through, emerging flattened on the other side, while its sweet syrup cascades down a metal slide. Filtered through a sieve, it joins a blend of fresh ginger and lime juice. Jafari grins, stirring in crushed ice, assuring you it's the best beverage available. He secures the lid, inserts a straw, and presents it to you. The cup feels cool against your palm, the liquid inside a luminous lime gold. The drink itself is pure refreshment, tangy, zesty, and wonderfully sweet, drawn directly from the sugarcane's heart. Kalen, apparently, is also an enthusiast, though he favors the fibrous cane itself. Jafari passes him a basket filled with the pressed golden stalks, adding a few uncrushed pieces for good measure. One by one, Kalen curls his trunk around them, conveying them to his mouth to chew contentedly. This juice stall stands adjacent to the source of the enchanting music. A local band is playing, allowing you to sip your cool drink and absorb the melodies. A guitarist sits flanked by two companions. His fingers move deftly across the strings as he sings, his voice carrying beautiful, soulful tunes that coax a smile. His bandmates join in harmony. Positioned in a gap between stalls, they face the ocean, their music seemingly offered to the waves themselves. Kalen translates the song's essence. It speaks of embracing slowness. There's a local saying he shares, Mtu mwenye haraka hukosa mambo matamu. A hasty person misses the sweetest things. He leisurely returns to his sugarcane basket, and you continue sipping your sweet, delicious juice. Neither of you feels any urge to be anywhere but precisely here, immersed in this perfect moment. When the basket is empty and your cup drained, you offer heartfelt thanks to Jafari and bid him farewell. It's time, Kalen indicates, to leave the market's embrace. Refreshed by food and drink, he is ready to reveal more of his extraordinary homeland. Together, you depart, Kalen carrying you onward at his comfortable, easy gait, allowing you to relax and observe the shifting panorama. Beneath the elephant's broad feet, sand gives way to pavement. Roads appear, traversed by cars, buses, and bicycles. Buildings rise around you, old stone schools, long stretches of shops, and towering silver skyscrapers piercing the sky. You are passing through Dar es Salaam, Kalen informs you. Once a humble fishing village, it has burgeoned into a vibrant, bustling metropolis, Tanzania's largest city, home to over 6 million souls. Yet somehow, it doesn't feel crowded. It's as if you and Kalen move within a tranquil bubble, the city's energy swirling around you unnoticed. Kalen maintains his unhurried pace, yet his immense stride devours distance rapidly. Before long, the urban landscape recedes, replaced by rolling grasslands stretching northward. Every conceivable shade of green paints the hills and plains, splashed across trees, plants, and scattered bushes. Kalen follows a well-worn path, an orangey-brown ribbon winding through the verdure, compacted by countless animal footfalls and hooves. The city's hum fades, replaced by a pervasive quiet, underscored by the constant melodic chirping of birds. Some are true songbirds, their intricate melodies echoing the soulful singers of the market band. Kalen traverses a field shimmering like spun gold when a colossal mountain looms into view ahead. Recognition dawns even before he speaks its name. Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak. On this clear, sunlit day, its form stands sharply defined against the sky, a silent guardian watching over the land. Its summit appears flattened from this distance, dusted with pristine white snow. Kalen calls it the crown of Africa. Towering 19,000 feet, it is not merely a mountain, but a dormant volcano. People journey from across the globe to ascend its slopes, but they are not the only ones drawn to its majesty. The Chaga people, Kalen explains, make their homes upon its flanks, cultivating lush crops and gardens. Fed by streams cascading from the snowmelt, they grow everything from bananas to coffee beans, consuming what they need and selling the surplus. The great mountain shelter's wildlife, too. Monkeys chattering in the canopy, watchful ravens, elusive two-horned chameleons are but a few denizens of the miles of misty rainforest clothing its slopes. Further down, around the mountain's broad base, life thrives abundantly. Kalen's own family resides here, he says contentedly, sharing their domain with a wondrous array of creatures. You need not rely solely on his word. As you draw nearer to the sprawling, snow-capped giant, the diverse wildlife becomes increasingly visible. 2 rhinoceroses appear, an adult and its calf. The youngster cavorts in a muddy patch, rolling onto its back with joyous abandon, legs kicking skyward, while its parent grazes placidly on a large fruit bush nearby. A dazzle of zebras crops the grass, their black and white stripes rendered even more striking by the brilliant sunlight. One lies relaxing, soaking in the warmth. To your delight, a trio of giraffes ambles across the plains, their patterned hides reminiscent of Amina's dress, no longer mere silhouettes, but a stunning mosaic of yellow and brown splotches. You watch as they reach a massive, emerald-leafed tree, extending their impossibly long necks to browse delicately on the topmost leaves. Kalen knows these giraffes. He calls out a greeting as you pass. They pause their meal, turning their elegant heads to return his call, welcoming you warmly to their beautiful homeland. The giraffes, it seems, possess the same gentle friendliness as the people. Small wonder Kalen cherishes this place. One informs Kalen that his herd was seen heading towards the local watering hole. He thanks them graciously, then lifts his trunk high. A magnificent trumpeting sound rings out, announcing his imminent arrival to his family. Seconds later, answering calls rumbled back across the plains. Kalen is already moving in their direction, eager for you to meet his kin. Soon, the herd comes into view, a slow-moving river of pewter gray against the green landscape. You count 10 elephants in single file. As anticipated, the adults are immense. The leader must stand 10 feet tall. Bringing up the rear is an elephant not much larger than Kalen himself. This, you realize, is Kalen's mother. She turns as you approach the line, rubbing her trunk affectionately across his head, clearly pleased to see her son, and welcoming you with a gentle gaze. She waits for Kalen to join the procession, then resumes her position at the back. Together, you move onward. The watering hole is not far, but a pleasant weariness begins to settle over you. Your body relaxes against Kalen's comfortable back, and you find yourself listing slightly, like one of the leaning palms on the beach. Kalen's mother must notice, for you feel the gentle pressure of her trunk against your back, a steadying support preventing a tumble. She maintains this quiet assistance all the way to the water's edge, then carefully helps you dismount. You murmur your thanks as she steps away to drink. Turning to Kalen, you express the wonder of the day spent in Tanzania. He has been an incomparable guide, the kindest elephant imaginable. He touches his trunk gently to your hair in an affectionate gesture, assuring you of your welcome any time. You are part of the herd now, he says. Family. He guides you towards a sprawling wild fig tree. You settle in its shade, leaning against the sturdy trunk, watching the elephants congregate around the large pool. Some drink deeply, while others splash water over their backs, washing and playing. A younger elephant seems content, simply wading through the shallows, sending ripples dancing across the water's surface. Closing your eyes, you inhale the clean air. The scents of grass, damp earth, and mud mingle, grounding and comforting. You listen to the peaceful sounds of the watering hole, the soft slurps, the gentle splashes, the low rumbles of elephantine conversation, and smile, thinking of all your newfound friends. Almost imperceptibly, sleep begins to claim you. Your extraordinary day concludes much as it began, enveloped by the soothing sounds of lapping water in beautiful, unforgettable Tanzania.